Alright guys, UFC 310 is upon us. It's literally tomorrow night. We're going to do some main card picks, but let's go through some of these prelims, early prelims, find out some best case, worst case scenarios for some of these matchups, like things we need for the sport to continue and grow and so we can keep some prospects going. First one, Chase Hooper, Clay Guida. Chase Hooper freaking Chase Du Bronx. You know, he took some L's at featherweight. Now he's in lightweight on a win streak. We need that to continue. We need Chase Hooper to get the win. Next, Joshua Van. Joshua Van is a good freaking flyweight prospect. Although he did get chinned recently by Charles Johnson, it was still a pretty good fight until it wasn't. It was competitive, and you know he needs this. He needs this because the UFC likes him, man. They were gonna give him some big matchups. Unfortunately, those got canceled, and so he had to fight Charles Johnson, and Charles Johnson handed him that L. But before that, the UFC was looking to put him in some big matchups, so he needs this win so he can continue with his career and hopefully get the matchups that I feel like he deserves. I think he's a great fighter. Next, Chris Weidman, Eric Anders. I think this is the end of line for Eric Anders. To be honest, Eric Anders needs this win if he wants to continue having a career. But I don't know. I see Chris Weidman getting it. He's still although he's old and you know he's an eye poke merchant now. He is still good. So I'm gonna take Chris Weidman on that one. Brian Battle, Randy Brown. We need Brian Battle to win this fight. Randy Brown is not a bad fighter. He is good, but he just doesn't have the hype behind him. You know, if you put his picture up, no one would know who the fuck that is. You know, but if you put his picture up of Brian Battle, everyone knows who Brian Battle is. He's very recognizable, especially after his little antics after he won at UFC Paris earlier this year. So we need the hype trade to continue, so we can get some big matches for him. And then next we got Aljo Evloev. Okay. These guys are on the prelims. Deserved? No. Disrespectful? Actually, no. Disrespectful? Yes. Deserved? Potentially. This fight has the potential to be the worst fight on the card. And think about it this way, if this was the feature fight and it was boring as fuck, it would literally just ruin all the momentum that we could be getting for this whole card. So I kind of like where it's placed just because of how these guys fight. At the end of the day, they have no one to blame but themselves. Aljo and Evlo have no one to blame but themselves. So, but worst case scenario, Evloev finishes him. I could see him winning. I don't think the UFC cares necessarily if he wins. I think they care about how he wins. If he chokes out Aljo or knocks out Aljo, that's crazy because Aljo is a former champ and Evloev has 0 finishes in his entire career, I believe, or at least in the UFC. And so if he finishes Aljo, then it honestly kind of shoots him up to like maybe even past Lopez for a title shot. So he's waiting for the winner of Ilya Volk 2, which is obviously going to be Ilya. So best case scenario, they have Sterling win because Sterling is unlikable enough, but he's marketable enough to where people are going to want to see him get chinned again. I know I would personally love to see him get chinned again by Ilya. So we need Sterling to win this. Garimbo is going to win. Reyes Smith, worst case scenario, Smith wins and we have to keep seeing his fucking face and seeing him in big matchups for at least another year. Best case scenario, Reyes wins. The second title run starts now. The resurgence starts now. He gets this win. Fuck, bro. Put him against fucking. I don't even know. Put him against. I would do Yuri 2. Him Yuri 2. Just can't. Maybe we don't want that. He got fucked up by Yuri, but he just needs this win. Everyone wants to see this win. I want to see this win. Everybody I know wants to see this win. Me and all the homies love Dominic Reyes. He did beat John Jones. Landwehr Choi. All right, now we're on the main card. I'm gonna take Nate Landwehr. Fuck, man. Maybe I kind of want to take Choi, the Korean old man. Oh man, I'm gonna take Choi. Fuck it, dude. I'm gonna stand on business, dude. I fuck with the Korean fighters in the UFC heavy. Although all of them literally took some fat L's recently. Well, two. Okay. There was 4 on a card. One of the fights didn't happen. Choi won his fight, and then the other 2 Korean dudes, I forgot their names, they took some fat L's. But Choi still won. He is still dangerous. Him and Landwehr are coming off of finishes. Nate Landwehr in the first round, Choi in the second round. So I feel like this has fight of the night potential on it. These guys are gonna fucking swing. They're both tough. They both have good chins. They're both durable. But I feel like if Choi can land that good, perfect shot early on and can put Landwehr on some wobbly feet, maybe he can actually get the finish. So I'm gonna predict second round finish. I think they're both gonna hurt each other in the first round, and then Choi's gonna find that sweet spot and put Landwehr away in the second round. Choi. All right, Mitchell, Gracie, fuck this fight. Fuck Kron Gracie. Honestly, fuck the Gracie family. They're This is literally he's a nepo baby. This is fucking. This is he's basically Umar but worse. This is them using the name value of a Gracie family member to put and putting him a one on a main card to potentially sell pay-per-views. I don't know how much stock there is in the Gracie name these days anymore. I mean, I know there's Gracie jiu-jitsu gyms everywhere, but just the name itself, I don't know if people really know much about it anymore. But I think this is a good matchup for Mitchell. Mitchell, he's comfortable on the ground, so he's not afraid of that. And we all know Kron Gracie can't strike. So I feel like if Mitchell can keep this on the feet, man, he can style on him a little bit and put on a great performance, get himself back in the win column, and then boom, we can get back to ranked fights. So we need Bryce Mitchell to win this, and I'm picking Bryce Mitchell. I'm gonna say decision though. I don't think he after his big knockout maybe he might not have the confidence to really go for finishes at least on the feet. So I'm gonna go by decision. Volkov gone, whatever. You know, before UFC 308 when Volkov had to pull out because of his knee injury, I was gonna pick Volkov. He's on a good win streak, and I also like Volkov a lot. But unfortunately, he did have to pull out because he had a knee injury. Having a knee injury against someone like Gon is not good. Gon's definitely gonna go for some. I bet he's dirty, bro. He's gonna go for some oblique kicks. There's gonna be leg kicks. So unless Volkov can clinch him up against the cage and get him and take him down and lay some ground and pound on him, Gon is probably gonna put him away. He's gonna put him. He's gonna hurt him with some leg kicks, and then he's gonna put him away on the feet. I'm gonna go in second round TKO for Gon. I'm sorry, Volkov. All right, Ian Machado, Gary, the cuck versus veganism versus horse meat. Man, dude, this is a fucking nuts fight, man. I can't believe it's even happening. Two undefeated fighters. I mean, this is pretty common now in the UFC having undefeated fighters fight each other, but this is a big matchup. This is title implications. This is the kind of fight that we've been waiting for in welterweight. I feel like a lot of the big fights haven't been made recently, and now we finally got a big one right here. Um, so yeah, I mean, Shavkat choked Ian Gary in training. Ian Gary owned it. He's like, yeah, he got me in training, whatever. I get. He even said I've gotten other people in training. I'm not sitting here talking about it like a fucking girl. So good for Ian Gary to stand on business like that. I don't really like Ian Gary, but these guys have similar opponents. You know, they at least and they've had similar performances against those opponents. So it's kind of it's almost like no, I don't want to say they had similar performances, but I mean, I'd say the one that's really telling is the Jeff Neal one. Shavkat went life and death with Jeff Neal, nearly almost got finished himself, and then whereas Ian Gary was able to smudge Jeff Neal up against the fence and get a decision win over him. And I don't know, maybe that was just a good game plan after seeing how Shavkat fought him, but also the fact that he was able to get the win, taking very minimal damage, and getting a pretty dominant victory. At least that's how I remember it. Versus Shavkat, like I said, going life and death. I don't know. It might be a bad look, but I'd say the difference is the striking. No. The difference is certainly the striking. I think Ian is more slick. He's more slick. He's more of a flow state kind of guy. So unless Shavkat can get him to the ground, and actually even then, man, getting Ian Gary to the ground is not a guaranteed finish. Dude, he's been training with fucking Charles, the shooter box. His jiu-jitsu's probably becoming next level. So, man, dude, right here, right now, gun to my head, I'm saying Shavkat is gonna get the win in the later rounds though, 3 or 4. I don't want to say that like Ian Gary's gonna be up on the scorecards. I've been seeing a lot of people have that take like Ian Gary's gonna be up and then Shavkat's gonna eventually hurt him and get the win. I don't think it's gonna be like that. I think it's gonna be close, like 10-9, 10-9. Like it could be 1-1 going into the third, something like that. Very very close. There's gonna be a lot of leg kicks. There's gonna be a lot of clinching. That's for sure. I don't think either of you guys are gonna be standing there in the open just trading hardcore. But I'm gonna take Shavkat for the win, and I feel like this is. I don't want to say this is better for the UFC because Ian Gary is still he's recognizable and he's still undefeated. So it's always good to have an undefeated fighter, like right there at the top, like getting ready for a title fight. But I feel like if Ian Gary gets like a decision win, they're not gonna give him a title fight. They'll wait for someone else. But if Shavkat gets a decision win, it's guaranteed title fight, or even a finished guaranteed title fight. So I think for the sake of the division moving forward and not having like Usman coming off a layoff and like a 3 fight losing streak, getting a title shot. This is better for the UFC to have Shaf Khan win. So I'm picking Shaf Khan. Now, Kaya Sakura Pantoja. It's simple why they're doing this. Kaya Sakura is famous. He's popular in Japan. He's a good fighter. Eh, air quotes around good, but he's popular. This is the kind of guy the UFC wants and needs. They're trying to take some viewership away from one championship. They're trying to go to Asia. They're trying to get a bigger market in Asia, and so the UFC needs this. And honestly, I personally need this. I mean, Pantoja has a nice story. It's touching. He's an Uber driver. Blah 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 blah. Everyone, dude, almost all these fucking guys have sad background stories. Not all these guys are fucking, little rich kids that just started doing jujitsu for fun, and then they find themselves in the UFC. Almost all these guys have fucking crazy stories, especially the foreign fighters. Almost all of them grew up poor. Almost all of them grew up in like terrible situations. So I mean, Pantoja, touching as the story may be, he's not the only person that lived a hard life. So let's get over that real quick. I'm picking Kaya Sakura. No, I'm not picking Kaya Sakura, but I can see why the UFC wants Kaya Sakura, and I personally would like Kaya Sakura, but Pantoja is just better. Pantoja's better. He's gonna win. Honestly, he's probably gonna get a finish too because I don't think Kaya Sakura is necessarily like Brandon Moreno, Brandon Royval level. So Pantoja's gonna win. He's probably gonna get a finish too. I'm predicting like a third round choke, third round submission. I know we saw Kai Sakura freaking stuff takedowns from Marab, but Pantoja's a little bit different. He's a lot more slick. He is better. He has good finishing instincts, and yeah, I'm picking Pantoja. And then after he wins, we're gonna get Pantoja Royval 3. But all right, guys, let me know what you think. That's it for the main card.